A brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Hey, 34% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can climb up the 110,000 ladder here. Now, I want to talk about, as we head on into Jump Festa here, as we head on into, we just got figure information yesterday about the Charmers, and we're kind of at that point right now that a lot of people have been kind of turning heads. They're going, new Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, new Master Rule mechanic. Well, here's the thing, all right? Konami, if you haven't noticed, has been feeling like it's pulling more away from, you guessed it, the actual base work anime. Now, this is actually an interesting tie-in here because the Sky Striker manga, for those of you that have been paying attention, has now kind of unfolded. We now are, 10-ish chapters in at this point in time? And now I get to unpack the question to you. Will we finally get our first lore-based anime? Now, if you've kind of noticed as of late, animes aren't really doing the Naruto, the Bleach anymore, where, they'll run 300 plus, 200 plus episodes all straight through. Like, that's not how that happens anymore. What you're more likely to see in the current era is the fact that we could pull through an anime for 12 episodes, all right? A 12-episode story, gets you through pretty much the beginning, the intro for the first episode. You start to ramp up, introduce more characters. Obviously, you have a beach episode in there about episode 7, 8, and then you hit the climax for the season about the 12th episode. So, if you're looking at the Sky Striker, story and things like that, spoiler alert for those of you that are watching this, you've been warned. You kind of can go through the intro, establish the world building through, and then you could drop Rose in or whatever story of conflict that you wish to approach up through the first 12 episodes. And typically, you can fit, 2 to 3 volumes of story in there. Like I said, I bring this up because considering the fact that the Statue News basically shows that, hey, we're focusing more on, the Parts of Duel Monsters. We understand that, I don't know if they understand this, but the nostalgia pandering, the current block has been the nostalgia power-up block. Like, we've gone through, powered up all of these old era cards. All right, now, as we kind of go forward here, now we kind of have to sit around, we have to look, and we have to go, we've run through all of this lore, and I think that the Sky Striker stuff is the #1 candidate up on the block, because it actually has a manga already going for it. They already have a storyboard written for this. By far, that has become the most interesting lore of things that they've actually explored. Now, unpacking on the side, you have the Fallen of Albaz storyline. Now, to be honest with you, a lot of people have said that they would love to see the Fallen of Albaz storyline be animated. It would be an absolute undertaking to see, Kit going into outer space and, hanging out with the Thurions for the day, watching them duke it out. It feels more like it would be like the League of Legends adaptation level of animation versus, something like the Sky Striker animation that I'd feel would be more like something Katakawa would make, for example, here. It would feel more like Mecha. Maybe Gainax, but I highly doubt that at the end of the day. So to kind of see that, more people want more lore stuff animated is good. And that's why I bring up, the Fallen of Albaz, though, because that's the lore that most people, besides the current undertaking of the Sky Striker manga, the Fallen of Albaz lore has been the current blocks of lore. So many people, there's been so much excitement. And, even the death of, Iris Swordmaster and, the effects that it's done to Ecclesia, it's been an emotional ride. You can definitely tell the care and the love that has been put into these cards. And to capture that in an anime, I think would make a lot of people extremely happy. Now, downside, you kind of know it's going to happen, but, you can't really, complain about that too much. So, I would be very curious to see if they could unfold that. Now, the other one that was also highly requested to get an anime was actually the Dual Terminal lore. Now, for those of you that, sit back and you go through, you're like, really? Dual Terminal? Yeah, people wanted to see lava voles. They wanted to see worms invading. They wanted to see these undertakings and these stories and these involvements with this. Now, if you want my personal opinion, The dual terminal lore is nowhere nearly as flushed out as I feel like the Fallen of Albaz story has been. It feels like that they took the dual terminal lore. Obviously, the dual terminal lore was effectively, you know, the first basic lore that Konami was trying to build. And if you look at it, it feels like an absolute pile of crap in comparison to everything else that we've seen be developed out of them. So, as much as I would love to see the dual terminal lore, you know, get its own animation, get its own chronicle for sure, it doesn't feel anywhere nearly as complete as the story of Albaz does. Now, on that very same topic, you could talk about the Vice's Starfrost story. We're nowhere near any level of completion for Vice's Starfrost and its lore, and for it going back and forth to the other planets. I mean, the other thing is, like, you got to ask yourself, you know, these are all, like, stories that they could just drop into Master Duel, for sure. That's why, like, I bring up the Sky Striker animation here, because you don't really get that level. You have bits and pieces of the lore, for sure, but when you kind of look at how it's going and things like that, you once again ask yourself, it's like, you know, the Fallen of Albaz lore, as extensive it is would it be better to be visualized in a Master Duel setting? You know, would players rather have that? And that's kind of what we bring the question to. And then there is the OCG manga. The manga that is based on the experiences of playing the actual trading card game. The fact that your opponent opened up on double max C, and every time you make a movement to try to win the game, you're going to get blown out because they're going to draw another resource. What it's like to actually play the game. I don't know if people realize this if you're watching this video right now, but like, there is a certain level of feeling that comes with playing the trading card game. You know, there will be intense moments that you're like, oh crap, they actually had the out. And it's like, oh my gosh, you get into those really games where you try to grind your opponent out. You know, it's been a long time since, you know, you've had the forehead sweat and you've had to actually genuinely think through these moves. Like the thrill of the gameplay. And that's something that with the visualizations and things that the OCG manga tries to bring to the table. Now, on the topic of that getting animated, I don't foresee that right now. It doesn't feel like that's the way that Konami wants to go with this. Once again, you know, after the figure news, it looks like Konami wants to kind of cradle more of the original monsters. You know, you have to remember the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Exists beyond the anime. You know, there's a world of monsters, a world of stories that are all intertwined within these particular things, and I feel like the Sky Striker manga is the first test for them to actually test the waters, kind of look around and be like, you know, do we want to pump this much money into our own original anime? You know, the potential for 12 episodes is very, very real there, I feel like. And as Jump Fest unfolds here, I'm going to say it. I would not be surprised. Maybe it'll be another year from now that we will see this, but all of the writing is starting to form on the wall at this point in time that Konami is starting to look around at alternatives to original storylines here that aren't necessarily going to be inspired on Rush Duels and, you know, all of the easy, more friendliness of that. I mean, to be honest with you, would you be more interested in getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! As a up-and-coming player if you saw an anime on Sky Striker? You're like, oh my god, like all these intense battles, you know, it's Rei's birthday, you know, you find out that, you know, they're the last potential human being left. You see the chaos of the world unfolds in front of you, and you see the insanity of this, and then it's time to get into the battle. You call upon your armament, you bring out 01 Kagari or whatever it is, and you see the amazing flare off of the back with the swords, the engagement, the hip-hop battle music hits the ground. You're sitting there, you're like, holy shit, this is the most intense crap that I've ever seen. It's absolutely beautiful in 4K technology. And you probably, it's Demon Slayer level animation, and you're just like, God damn! That's what I came here for. That's the level of animation that I want Yu-Gi-Oh! To strive for here. Because, honestly, if they could pull some Demon Slayer level animation on 12 episodes, you know goddamn well that the player base would eat that up, and that would definitely get some new players in the game. That's for sure. So, you think about the potential behind the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.